The morning sky above Earth's Defense Command Center was crystal clear when the first alarms began to sound. Admiral James Walker had just finished his morning coffee when multiple red dots appeared on the main screen, approaching from beyond Neptune's orbit. "Multiple objects detected, sir," reported the young radar operator. They're moving faster than light." The command center erupted into controlled chaos. Years of training kicked in as personnel moved with purpose, but there was no hiding the tension in the air. This was the moment humanity had both feared and prepared for. "Bring up the deep space feeds," ordered Walker, his weathered face illuminated by the blue glow of holographic displays. The massive screen showed 12 large objects, each bigger than anything humanity had ever built, dropping out of faster-than-light travel. The Earth Defense Force had been created after the discovery of alien wreckage in the Arctic 30 years ago. That discovery had changed everything. Humanity had worked together, pooling resources and knowledge, reverse engineering what they could while developing their own unique solutions. "All stations, this is not a drill," Walker's voice carried across global channels. "Implement Protocol Shield. Alert all major cities and military installations." Across the globe, hidden defense systems hummed to life. Satellite networks activated their stealth modes. Underground bases sealed themselves. Civilian defense shelters began their silent preparation sequences. The alien ships moved with precision, arranging themselves in a perfect formation just beyond the moon's orbit. Their design was both beautiful and terrifying. Sleek vessels that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. A transmission cut through all Earth's communication channels. The alien message was clear and translated instantly by Earth's AI systems. "Primitive species of Sol 3, this is High Commander Dax of the Galactic Empire's 7th Expansion Fleet. Your system has been chosen for integration into the Empire. Submit to Imperial rule and accept your place as a protectorate species, or face immediate extinction. You have one planetary rotation to respond." Walker looked at the faces around him in the command center. He saw determination, not fear. Humanity had prepared for this moment since finding that crashed ship. They weren't the primitive species the Empire expected to find. "Send our response," Walker ordered, nodding to the communications officer. The message was brief. "This is Earth Defense Command. We choose neither submission nor extinction. This system is protected. Leave now." Laughter echoed through the Empire's return transmission. "Protected? By what? Our scans show you barely have space flight capability. Your weapons are primitive. Your defenses are non-existent." Walker allowed himself a small smile. The Empire's scans showed exactly what Earth wanted them to see. 30 years of preparation had taught humanity the value of hiding their true capabilities. "Final warning," came the Empire's message. "Submit or be destroyed. Your time grows short." Walker pressed a button on his command console, opening a channel to all Earth's military commands. "All units, prepare for combat. Remember your training. Remember what we fight for. Today, we show them humanity's strength." The Empire's ships moved closer, spreading out to surround Earth. Their weapons charged, creating beautiful but deadly displays of energy against the black of space. Walker watched the enemy's formation with a practiced eye. They were following standard military doctrine, exactly as expected. The crashed ship's database had taught humanity much about Imperial tactics. "Sir," called out the sensor operator, "they're launching fighters." "Right on schedule," Walker muttered. He raised his voice. "Initiate Defense Plan Alpha. Let's show them why you don't threaten Earth." As the Imperial fighters streaked toward Earth's atmosphere, they encountered nothing. No resistance. No defensive fire. The Empire's commanders likely felt confident in their easy victory. They never saw the quantum distortion fields activating around their ships. They didn't notice the nanite clouds seeding themselves through their formation. They had no idea that Earth's apparent defenselessness was the first layer of a trap 30 years in the making. The battle for Earth was about to begin, and humanity was far from helpless. The Empire was about to learn a harsh lesson about judging a species by its apparent technological level. Walker stood at his command post, watching the enemy ships approach. "All units, stand by," he ordered. "Let them come a little closer." The trap was set. Humanity was ready. And the Empire was about to discover they had made a terrible mistake. The Imperial fighters dove toward Earth's atmosphere, their pilots confident in an easy victory. Behind them, the massive Imperial warships moved into bombardment positions. High Commander Dax watched from his flagship's bridge, expecting another routine conquest. He was about to get the shock of his life. "Begin standard planetary bombardment," Dax ordered. "Show these primitives the might of the Empire." The Imperial ships fired their main weapons. Brilliant beams of energy shot toward Earth's major cities. For a moment, everything seemed to go as planned. Then the impossible happened. The energy beams hit an invisible wall 20 miles above Earth's surface. The attacks didn't just stop. They bounced back. Several Imperial fighters were caught in their own reflected weapons fire, exploding in brief flashes of light. "What is this?" Dax demanded, standing up from his command chair. "Scan that barrier." In Earth's Defense Command Center, Admiral Walker watched the Empire's confusion with satisfaction. "Activate Phase 2, he ordered. "Let's show them what else we've learned." Suddenly, hundreds of small objects appeared around the Imperial fleet. They had been there all along, hidden by advanced cloaking technology. Each was a drone, carrying weapons reverse-engineered from that crashed alien ship found 3 decades ago. But humanity had improved the original designs. The drones fired quantum-phase torpedoes, weapons that could pass right through Imperial shields. The Empire's sensors couldn't even detect them until impact. 5 Imperial cruisers erupted in flames before they knew what hit them. "Impossible," Dax shouted as his ship shook from a direct hit. "They're primitives. They can't have this technology." More surprises awaited the Empire. From hidden bases on the moon, Earth's stealth ships launched their attack. These vessels were smaller than Imperial ships, but far more maneuverable. They darted between the larger Imperial vessels, striking with precision and vanishing before the Empire could respond. "Sir," reported Walker's tactical officer, "the Empire is trying to adapt their shields to stop our quantum weapons." Walker nodded. "Just as we expected. Launch the nanoswarms." Clouds of microscopic robots, invisible to Imperial sensors, spread through space. They attached themselves to Imperial ships, slowly eating through their hull armor. By the time the Empire detected them, it was too late. "High Commander," an Imperial officer reported, "our ships are being damaged by something we can't see. Hull integrity is failing across the fleet." Dax couldn't believe what was happening. This was supposed to be an easy conquest of a primitive world. Instead, his mighty fleet was being torn apart by weapons and tactics he'd never seen before. "Launch all fighters," Dax ordered desperately. "Begin full bombardment. We must break through their defenses." But Earth wasn't finished revealing its surprises. The planetary shield suddenly pulsed with energy. A wave of electromagnetic force swept through space, disabling Imperial fighters and disrupting their ships' control systems. "Status report," Walker called out in Earth's command center. "Enemy fleet is in disarray." "Sir," came the response. "Their fighters are disabled. 7 of their capital ships are heavily damaged. No casualties on our side." Walker allowed himself a small smile. "Send the message." Earth's transmission reached every Imperial ship. "Your weapons cannot harm us. Your shields cannot stop us. Your tactics cannot surprise us. We've spent 30 years preparing for this day. Leave our solar system now, or face destruction." In his flagship's command center, Dax faced a decision he'd never had to make before. His mighty fleet, pride of the Empire, was being defeated by a supposedly primitive species. Half his ships were damaged or destroyed. His fighters were useless. His weapons couldn't penetrate Earth's defenses. "All ships," he finally ordered, "retreat to safe distance. Prepare for emergency faster-than-light jump. The remaining Imperial ships pulled back, their once perfect formation now broken and chaotic. They had underestimated Earth and paid a heavy price for their mistake. In Earth's command center, Walker watched them retreat. "Keep our weapons locked on them," he ordered. "They'll be back, and next time they'll take us seriously." "Should we pursue, sir?" asked his second-in-command. Walker shook his head. "No, let them go. Let them tell the Empire what happened here. Let them spread the word. Earth is not to be trifled with." The first battle was over. Humanity had won. But everyone knew this was just the beginning. 3 days after the first battle, Earth's defense systems detected new Imperial ships entering the solar system. This time, they came in greater numbers. 30 massive warships dropped out of faster-than-light travel, led by an enormous flagship twice the size of the others. Admiral Walker studied the tactical display in Earth's Defense Command Center. "They'd brought their heavy guns this time," he said calmly. "Just as we expected." A new Imperial commander's face appeared on the main screen. "I am Grand Admiral Rex of the Imperial First Fleet. Your resistance to the Empire ends today. Our analysis of the previous battle has shown us your tricks. They will not work twice." Walker didn't respond immediately. Instead, he pressed a button on his command console. "Begin Operation Ghost," he ordered quietly. Across the solar system, humanity's hidden technology came to life. The Empire thought they had figured out Earth's defenses. They were wrong. Deep inside Mercury's orbit, massive solar collectors that had been gathering energy for years activated. The Empire sensors detected nothing. These collectors used technology humans had developed themselves, completely different from anything the Empire knew. "Sir," reported an Imperial officer on their flagship, "our sensors detect no changes. The humans appear to be using the same shield configuration as before." Grand Admiral Rex smiled coldly. "Begin the attack. Our new shield frequencies will penetrate their barrier easily." The Imperial ships fired their main weapons, modified to counter Earth's defenses. The energy beams struck Earth's shield and disappeared completely. "What?" Rex demanded. "Where did our attacks go?" In Earth's command center, Walker allowed himself a small smile. "Show them where, please." The solar collectors near Mercury suddenly released their stored energy, combined with the absorbed Imperial weapon fire. The redirected power struck the Imperial fleet from behind, magnified 100-fold. 10 Imperial ships exploded instantly. The others' shields barely held. "Impossible," Rex shouted. "Their technology can't be this advanced." Phase 2, Walker ordered calmly. From hidden bases in the asteroid belt, hundreds of small pyramids made of dark metal emerged. The Empire's sensors finally detected these, but too late. The pyramids formed a massive geometric pattern around the Imperial fleet. "Sir," an Earth officer reported, "the quantum field is ready." Walker nodded. "Activate it." The pyramids generated a quantum interference field, another purely human invention. Within the field, faster-than-light drives couldn't function. The Imperial fleet was trapped. "Our engines are dead," reported an Imperial officer. "We can't activate our faster-than-light drives." Rex's face showed real fear now. "Launch all fighters. Fire all weapons. We must break free." But humanity had more surprises ready. From Earth's moon, hundreds of small drones launched. These weren't weapons. They were electronic warfare platforms. As they approached the Imperial fleet, they began broadcasting on frequencies the Empire had never encountered. Imperial computers began to malfunction. Their targeting systems showed thousands of false targets, their communications filled with static. Their sensors reported impossible readings. "How are they doing this?" Rex demanded. "These aren't Imperial technologies. These aren't even technologies from any known species." In the command center, Walker turned to his chief scientist. "Dr. Miller, would you explain to our guests how we did it?" Walker opened a channel to the Imperial fleet. Dr. Miller, a quiet woman with gray hair, spoke clearly. We didn't copy anyone's technology. We looked at the alien ship we found and learned its principles. Then we made our own path. Every weapon we used was designed and built by human minds. The Imperial fleet tried to fight back, but they couldn't hit what they couldn't properly see. Their advanced computers, designed to fight known enemies, couldn't handle Earth's completely different approach to warfare. Your mistake, Walker added, was thinking we would just copy the technology we found. Humanity doesn't work that way. We innovate, we create, we improve. The remaining Imperial ships were now surrounded by Earth's forces. Their shields were failing against weapons they couldn't understand. Their sensors were blinded by electronic warfare they'd never encountered. Final warning, Walker announced. Retreat is still possible, but you'll have to do it the slow way. No faster than light travel until you're past Pluto. Those are our terms. Grand Admiral Rex, his mighty fleet defeated by technologies that shouldn't exist, had no choice. All ships, he ordered bitterly, begin conventional retreat. As the Imperial ships limped away, Walker turned to his crew. Well done, everyone. But stay alert, they'll be back. And next time, they'll bring everything they have. 2 weeks after driving back the Empire's second attack, Earth's military leaders gathered in the underground command center beneath the Rocky Mountains. Admiral Walker stood before a holographic display showing the movements of Imperial scout ships at the edge of the solar system. They're studying us, Walker explained to the assembled leaders. Learning our patterns. But that's exactly what we want them to think we're doing. The room was silent as a new alert appeared on the main screen. The Empire had begun broadcasting messages to Earth's civilian population, trying to turn them against their defenders. Your leaders deceive you. The Imperial message played across all channels. Submit to Imperial rule and receive advanced technology, medical care, and protection. Resist, and watch your cities burn. But the Empire had made another mistake. They didn't understand human nature. In New York, people gathered in Times Square, watching the Imperial message on the big screens. Instead of fear, the threats brought determination. In Tokyo, children created art showing Earth's ships defeating the Imperial fleet. In Lagos, musicians composed songs about humanity's resistance. Sir, reported a young communications officer, we're getting responses from citizens worldwide. They're making jokes about the Empire's threats. Walker smiled. Send those responses back to the Imperial ships. Let them see how humans react to bullying. The Empire's next move showed their frustration. They launched a small attack on Mars colony, expecting to find a weak point in Earth's defenses. Instead, they found an empty base. Imperial ships approaching Mars colony, sir, reported the tactical officer. They've taken the bait. Walker nodded. Activate the Mars defense grid. The Empire had fallen for a simple trick. Mars colony appeared vulnerable, but the entire base was a trap. As Imperial ships moved in to capture it, hidden defense systems powered up beneath the red sand. Massive electromagnetic pulses disabled the Imperial ship shields. Automated defense turrets emerged from underground bunkers. Within minutes, the attack force was crippled. This is impossible. The Imperial commander's frustrated voice echoed through the command center. How can they think of everything? In the command center, Dr. Miller explained to the military leaders. The Empire fights wars by their rulebook. They expect enemies to do the same. But humans, we learn from everything. Sports, games, history, even old movies. We don't fight by anyone's rules but our own. The Empire's next transmission showed their growing desperation. Your tactics are dishonorable. Face us in proper combat. Walker's response was brief. We're not fighting for honor. We're fighting for survival. And we'll do it our way. Earth's defense forces continued their unconventional strategy. Small, fast ships harassed Imperial supply lines. Electronic warfare systems confused their communications. Every time the Empire thought they had figured out Earth's defenses, they found something new and unexpected. Report from the Asteroid Belt Defense Grid called out an officer. Imperial scouts tried to map our sensor network. The automated asteroids changed positions again. Their maps are useless. This was another human innovation. Instead of building static defenses, they had attached engines to thousands of asteroids. The entire asteroid belt had become a constantly shifting maze that only Earth's ships could navigate safely. In the Imperial command ship, now hiding behind Neptune, the commanders struggled to understand their enemy. How do they think of these strategies? There's no logic to their defenses. But there was logic, human logic. While the Empire relied on overwhelming force and standard tactics, humanity used creativity and adaptability. Every failed Imperial attack taught Earth's defenders something new, and they adjusted their strategies constantly. "New Imperial transmission, sir," reported the communications officer. "They're demanding to know where we got our technology." Walker thought about the crashed ship that had started everything 30 years ago. That discovery had given humanity a peek at what was possible, but everything else. That came from human ingenuity. "Send them our response," Walker ordered. "Tell them, we built it ourselves. Because that's what humans do. We learn, we adapt, we overcome." As the message was sent, Walker looked at the tactical display. The Empire was gathering its forces for another attack, but now they were hesitant, uncertain. They had finally learned what so many others had learned throughout human history. Never underestimate humanity's ability to face a challenge. "Stay alert," Walker told his crew. "They're about to try something desperate, and desperate enemies are the most dangerous kind." The massive Imperial fleet appeared suddenly at the edge of the solar system. 100 warships, including 5 super dreadnoughts, emerged from faster-than-light travel. This was no ordinary attack force. This was the Empire's elite fleet, never defeated in 10,000 years of conquest. In Earth's Defense Command, alarms blared. Admiral Walker studied the tactical display with a grim expression. So they'd brought their best. "Good. Sir," reported the sensor officer, "these ships are different, much more powerful than what we faced before." The Imperial transmission came through on all channels. A new commander appeared on screen. Grand Marshal Peters, the Empire's most decorated military leader. "This ends today," Peters announced. "I've conquered 1,000 worlds. Your tricks won't work against me." Walker's response was calm. "You've conquered 1,000 worlds that fought like you expect. We're something new." The battle began immediately. The Imperial fleet split into 3 groups, attacking from multiple directions. Their tactics were perfect, their coordination flawless. These weren't ordinary Imperial soldiers. These were their elite veterans. Earth's outer defenses fell quickly. The quantum mines in the asteroid belt, so effective before, were destroyed by specialized Imperial weapons. The solar collectors near Mercury were targeted and destroyed in the first wave. "Outer defense grid is down," reported the tactical officer. "Mars colony. Mars colony is hit bad, sir." Walker nodded grimly. "Casualties?" "None, sir. We evacuated everyone last week. But we've lost the base and all the equipment we couldn't move." The Empire pushed forward, their confidence growing with each success. Their new shields seemed to resist Earth's quantum weapons. Their advanced sensors could detect Earth's stealth ships. "Status report," Walker demanded. "Not good, sir. They're countering everything we used before. Our weapons are barely damaging their new shields. They're pushing through all our outer defenses." But Walker smiled. "Exactly as planned. Begin Operation Hornet's Nest." Across the solar system, hidden installations activated. These weren't the obvious defenses the Empire had been countering. These were humanity's real weapons, kept secret for this very moment. From beneath the surface of Venus, massive cannons emerged. Using the planet's intense heat and pressure, they fired plasma bolts that could melt through even the strongest Imperial shields. Jupiter's moons, seemingly empty, revealed their secrets. Each moon contained automated factories that had been producing combat drones for months. Thousands of small, agile fighters emerge, overwhelming Imperial defenses with sheer numbers. Impossible, Peters shouted as his fleet's formation broke under the assault. These defenses weren't here before. Of course not, Walker replied calmly. We knew you'd eventually bring your elite fleet. Everything we showed you before was just to make you overconfident. The Empire's carefully planned attack turned into chaos. Their perfect formations, designed to counter Earth's previous tactics, now worked against them. The space between planets became a deadly maze of traps and ambushes. Sir, reported Walker's tactical officer, enemy fleet is taking heavy losses. Their coordination is breaking down. But the Empire's elite forces weren't finished. They regrouped and launched a desperate attack directly at Earth. 5 super dreadnoughts, each powerful enough to destroy a planet, charged forward. They're making their final push, Walker announced. Time for humanity's last surprise. Activate the moon. The moon's surface cracked open, revealing what humanity had been building for 30 years. A massive weapon, powered by the core of the moon itself, aimed at the approaching Imperial fleet. What is that? Peters demanded, real fear in his voice for the first time. Something we built ourselves, Walker replied. Care to see if your shields can handle it? The weapon fired. A beam of pure energy, more powerful than anything the Empire had ever seen, cut through space. 2 super dreadnoughts simply vanished. A third broke apart. The remaining 2 turned to retreat. All ships, fall back, Peters ordered. Fall back immediately. The elite fleet, pride of the Empire, retreated in disorder. Nearly half their ships were destroyed or disabled. The rest were damaged and demoralized. In Earth's command center, Walker watched them flee. But he wasn't celebrating. They'll be back, he told his staff. And next time, they'll bring everything they have. Absolutely everything. Are we ready for that, sir? Asked his second-in-command. Walker smiled. We've been ready for 30 years. Now, let's prepare our final surprise. 1 month after defeating the Empire's elite fleet, Earth detected something unprecedented. Space itself seemed to ripple as over 300 Imperial warships emerged from faster-than-light travel. Among them was the Emperor's personal flagship, a vessel larger than any spacecraft humanity had ever seen. Admiral Walker stood in the command center, watching the massive fleet approach. They'd brought their Emperor himself, he said. Perfect. The Emperor's message boomed through all communication channels. I am Emperor Maximus, ruler of 1,000,000 worlds. Your defiance ends today. I will personally oversee your extinction. Walker looked around the command center. Everyone nodded. They were ready. Begin final protocol, he ordered. Show them everything. The first surprise came from Earth's oceans. Massive structures rose from the depths, hidden shipyards that had been building advanced vessels for decades. Hundreds of ships, combining human innovation with reversed-engineered technology, emerged from beneath the waves. What trickery is this? The Emperor demanded. No tricks, Walker replied. We just believe in keeping our best weapons hidden. The second surprise came from Earth's moon base. The weapon they had revealed during the last battle was just the beginning. The entire moon had been transformed into a giant warfare platform, hosting technologies the Empire had never imagined. But humanity's greatest achievement remained hidden, waiting for the right moment. The Emperor's fleet advanced, unleashing a barrage that would have destroyed most civilizations. Their weapons lit up space itself, a display of power meant to terrify. Earth's defenses held easily. Sir, reported the tactical officer, enemy fleet is launching their main attack. All positions report ready. Walker nodded. Launch Operation Unity. Across the solar system, thousands of small devices activated. They were simple things, hardly bigger than a car, scattered through space over the past 30 years. Each contained a piece of humanity's greatest technological achievement. Energy spike detected in the enemy fleet, reported an Imperial officer. No, thousands of energy spikes. The devices created a network of quantum fields, connecting to each other. In moments, they had formed something unprecedented. A solar system-wide quantum web that could manipulate the very fabric of space. Show them what humans can really do, Walker ordered. The quantum web activated. Suddenly, the Imperial ships found themselves unable to move. Their engines still worked, but space itself held them in place. Impossible. The Emperor shouted. No species has this technology. That's right, Walker replied calmly. We invented it ourselves. You see, Emperor, while you were conquering 1,000,000 worlds, we were doing something different. We were learning, creating, innovating. The next phase began. Earth's ships, no longer hiding their true capabilities, moved into attack position. They carried weapons that didn't just damage Imperial shields. They ignored them completely, striking directly at the ships themselves. Their weapons, they're passing through our strongest shields like they don't exist. An Imperial commander reported in panic. Walker opened a channel to the Emperor. You thought you were facing a primitive species, but we've had 30 years to prepare. 30 years to develop technologies you never imagined. 30 years to get ready for this very day. The Imperial fleet tried to retreat, but the quantum web held them in place. Their mighty weapons, capable of destroying planets, couldn't break through Earth's defenses. Their advanced shields offered no protection against human weapons. How? The Emperor demanded. How did you develop these technologies? Because that's what humans do, Walker answered. We adapt. We overcome. We found one crashed alien ship, and instead of just copying it, we used it to create something new, something better. Earth's ships moved methodically through the Imperial fleet, disabling vessel after vessel, not destroying them. Humanity wanted prisoners, not casualties. They wanted witnesses to tell the galaxy what happened when you threatened Earth. Last chance, Emperor, Walker announced. Surrender, or watch your entire fleet be disabled. The Emperor, watching his invincible armada being systematically taken apart by a species he had considered primitive, made the only choice he could. All ships, stand down, he ordered, his voice heavy with disbelief. We surrender. Walker nodded to his crew. Secure their ships, and prepare to show the Emperor exactly what humanity is capable of when we're pushed too far. In Earth's largest conference room, deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Emperor Maximus stood before the combined leadership of Earth. His mighty fleet floated powerless above the planet, held in place by human technology. His personal guards had been left behind. This was not a negotiation between equals, but terms of surrender. Admiral Walker sat at the head of the conference table, flanked by military leaders and scientists from every major nation. The Emperor, used to others bowing before him, found himself in an unfamiliar position, that of the defeated. Your terms, the Emperor asked, his voice less commanding than before. Walker pressed a button, displaying a hologram of the solar system. It's quite simple. Earth and the entire solar system are now officially off-limits to the Empire. Forever. You can't make such demands, the Emperor protested. The Empire spans 1,000,000 worlds. And yet here you are, Walker replied calmly, with your fleet disabled and your weapons useless. But perhaps you need a final demonstration of why these terms are non-negotiable. Dr. Miller stepped forward, activating another hologram. This one showed the quantum web that held the Imperial fleet in place. What you're seeing is just the beginning of what we can do. Should we show him Project Gateway, Admiral? Walker nodded. Proceed. The hologram changed, showing a massive structure hidden behind the sun. This, Walker explained, is humanity's greatest achievement. We can close faster than light travel routes. Permanently. The Emperor's face paled. That's not possible. The laws of physics. The laws of physics as you understand them, Dr. Miller interrupted. We've moved beyond that. We don't just block faster than light travel. We rewrite the rules that make it possible. To demonstrate, the device activated. A wave of energy spread out, touching the edge of the solar system. Around Pluto's orbit, all faster-than-light travel points simply vanished. "We can expand this field," Walker continued. "We could cut off every route to Earth. The entire solar system could become unreachable by your faster-than-light technology. You'd have to travel for years just to reach us." The Emperor, for the first time in his long reign, looked truly afraid. "You would isolate yourselves from the galaxy." "If we must," Walker answered. "But we prefer a different arrangement." He laid out a document, an actual paper document, a touch of human tradition. "The sole proclamation. Sign it, and we'll allow normal travel to resume. Break it, and we'll seal off the entire system." The Emperor read the terms carefully. 1. The Empire acknowledges Earth's complete sovereignty. 2. The solar system is designated as protected space. 3. No imperial military forces may enter the system. 4. Trade and diplomatic relations must be approved by Earth's government. 5. Any violation results in immediate system-wide quarantine. "And if I refuse?" the Emperor asked. Walker smiled. "Then you and your fleet remain here, trapped by our quantum web, while we close off all access to Earth. Your empire would see their emperor vanish, never to return." "How long would your rule last then?" The Emperor looked around the room, seeing not primitive beings, but a species that had surpassed his own in many ways. They had taken one piece of imperial technology and built something entirely new, something that threatened the Empire's very way of life. "Very well," he said finally, reaching for the pen. Another human touch. "I accept your terms." As the Emperor signed, Walker stood. "Remember this day," he said. "Remember that humans didn't just fight back. We changed the rules of the game. If you ever think of breaking this agreement, remember what we accomplished in just 30 years with one crashed ship. Imagine what we can do now." The Emperor nodded slowly. "A question, if I may. Why didn't you use these technologies to expand? To conquer? Any other species would have." Walker laughed softly. "Because we're human. We don't want to rule the galaxy. We just want to be left alone to grow, to learn, to create." But if threatened, he let the sentence hang. After the Emperor departed, Earth's leaders gathered one final time. The sole proclamation would be broadcast across the galaxy, a message to any who might threaten Earth in the future. Earth had declared itself off-limits, not through fear or weakness, but through strength and innovation. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged victorious, not by following the rules of others, but by making their own. The stars would remember. Never underestimate the human spirit.